quiet life. That was the whole idea in my mind when I had decided to live on this valley. Sipping my morning coffee while I feel a cool breeze on my skin, or watching the light games on the lake created by sun while I enjoy my dinner. Serenity. You may think, what one might ask more from life? One morning, after 9 years away from the civilization, that is exactly the question that drove me to the roads. What do I really want? Why did I wait until this time? What is not enough for me now? As I move between the high mountains, dozens of different questions passing through my mind. After all, do I have the courage to return to the town I was born in? How can I forget Belmont, the sweet mountain town where I've spent all my childhood and youth? I remember the special pumpkin dessert which my mother made every Sunday. Belmont was famous with its pumpkin, and pumpkins grown here would be very big and juicy. But no one could make a pumpkin dessert quite like my mother. I remember that my father often took me to the woods with him. I was watching him with admiration on how strong he was while cutting the trees. He was the most powerful father of the world. Later, when he did not notice me, I used to sneak out to explore the forest. The forest was so big and lively. It feels like there were treasures and mysteries waiting to be found at every corner. But I should still be careful though, because my father said that if I go into the forest too deep, the horrible monsters would eat me. I feel like my feet get heavy at each step, doubts rising in my mind. Am I doing the right thing? Whereas I didn't hesitate when I go out to roads with excitement on this morning, turning my head slowly over my shoulder to look at the valley which has been a home for me for a long time. No, I cannot go back now. Can't be. It's a work. Must have made all these caves in its nests. It seems to be unconscious. They can't see me. That was close. In one of my journeys I made to the woods, I had found something that maybe changed my whole life. Something even more beautiful than the brightest of treasures. A girl, rushing through the trees with her green hair and cheerful voice that reflects all of nature's vitality. She had not noticed me. She was chasing a squirrel. She was almost my age, but she did not look like any girl I'd seen in the town before. When I saw her, I was thrilled for a reason I could not understand at that moment. I did not remember my heart beating so fast even when I was afraid. I'd held my breath and secretly watched her for a while. She caught the squirrel she was chasing and took it into her hands. She seemed very happy while she gently caressed the cute squirrel. Gathering my courage, I approached her slowly, saying, "Hello," as if words did not want to come out of my mouth. When she turned to look at me with a surprised expression, I said with great difficulty, "My name is Will." For a while, she kept her eyes on me with her big bead eyes. Then she smiled and said her name, Suna. As she was talking, it felt like I was traveling through another dimension. Even though I can hear her, I could not understand what she said. Then suddenly she holds my hand and put the squirrel on her lap. She asked, "Look here, isn't it cute?" My heart was about to stop. This time I could only nod my head. During the following weeks and months, I was using every opportunity when my father was not looking, slipping into the woods and looking for her, and for whatever reason, we always managed to find each other. Together, we'd lie down on the grass, climb trees, swim with fishes in the lake, and sometimes we'd just lean back against the rocks and watch the ocean. I was so happy every moment I was with her. I did not even know where she lived. When I tried to ask her, she just continued to smile meaningfully. I remember this column that rose menacingly from the sea. I was just a kid and was out of Belmont for the first time. I wonder when I saw the glowing eyes of the dragon which wrapped around the column tightly. I cried and ran to my mom. My father told me it was from a terrible era which was ruled by monsters thousands of years ago. I did not want to live in such an age. This mountain road will take me straight to Belmont. When we watched the ocean together, she's full of eyes and silent. I asked her the reason. She looked at me distantly and replied, "I'm afraid." She has brought so much joy to my life, and seeing her like that breaks my heart. To cheer her up, I said, "Let's go watch the gazelles." The seasons were chasing each other. The Belmont town was growing more each day. Of course, I was too. Suna was still the same, as young and stunningly beautiful as the day I first saw her. The past years have never changed our friendship. Every time she saw me, she smiled with the same warmth, and I felt the same excitement every day I saw the beating eyes of hers shining with life. And one of these days, lying on the grass and letting the sun to warm us up as if something had caught her attention, she puts her hand in my hair and pulls out a white hair. She examined my white hair in her hand for a long time. There was an anxious expression on her face. Then she looked at me and asked, "You will not get old, will you?" This is my first return here since I lost my family. Lovely Belmont. Feels like I haven't seen you in centuries. Maple trees surrounding the town, the wedding flowers that embellish the streets, merging with the mountain air and overflowing the town. And of course, pumpkins. White buildings and broken stone roads are still the same as I remember them. I can hear the sound of music coming from the square. Belmont is still as lively as I remember. It terrifies me to enter this forest after all this time. I'm afraid to ask, but could she still be here? I wonder if she's still waiting for me after all. Even if I find her, I don't know how to look at her. remember the first time I kissed her. It was one of those days when we fell to our desire for adventure. Together, we went to the deepest part of the forest and discovered an ancient structure at the peak of the mountain. My father told me a story about this place. He said this temple was left from the old, and that I had to stay away from there. I was scared when I saw that dreary structure. Suna did not like being close to it either, and she panicked, stepping backwards, lost her balance, and fell into my arms. She was trembling. I wrapped her up tightly and caressed her hair. The adrenaline sense we had experienced was as if something moved inside of us. Suddenly, our lips caught up. According to what is said in the town, an entity named Wise Demon lives there, and it watches the continents and the ocean with its all-seeing eyes. It was thought that there could be no question to exist in the universe that it does not know the answer for. According to the rumors, even long before the establishment of the town, he lived there alone and never abandoned his temple. Where are you, Suna? I cannot find her anywhere. Temple of the Wise Demon. Guess I have no other choice. I better make sure that I've searched the forest before continuing. I climbed the broken stairs, and I looked at those horrifying eyes, even the oldest of time itself. Its gaze piercing through my soul, as if it knows everything about me, everything I've experienced and yet to experience. It talked to me, not with words but non-worldly images echoing in my mind. I saw the lands that the light does not exist, darkness and shadows prevail, cities rising from the depths. The images I witnessed could cause an ordinary person to lose their mind. Then I saw her. Suna! There was despair in her eyes. She was suffering, frozen, and everything has gone dark. My head! How did I get here? The last thing I remember are the images of what the Wise Demon showed me. Did he send me here? But how?